Hey, Jeff, whose skateboard are you riding?
Teddy called to a boy who had zoomed past him on a fantastic skateboard. The boy's name was Jeff Cassidy.
Hey, whose skateboard do you think it is?
Jeff asked with a tinge of pride in his voice. Teddy commented playfully.
It couldn't be yours because you already have a great skateboard.
True, my old board is great, but I wanted one that had a little more flexibility and...
But of course. I would never expect you to be satisfied with anything but the very best.
That's not true.
Well, Jeff, old buddy, old pal, if you ever get tired of your old skateboard, I'd be happy to take it off your hands.
Teddy's teasing was beginning to annoy Jeff, and when Teddy realized this, he decided to lighten up.
I'm sorry if I offended you, Jeff. It's just that you have so many neat things, and
Just where do you think I get the neat things I have?
Well, from your mom and dad, of course. Everyone knows they're rich.
Jeff gave Teddy a steely look. Then, without saying another word, he rode off on his skateboard. The next day at school, Teddy was eating lunch with AJ when Jeff approached him.
Teddy, I've been thinking about what you said yesterday, and I was wondering, how would you like to have some of the neat things I have?
Teddy wasn't sure why Jeff would ask such a question, so he hesitated and then spoke with reservation.
Well, anyone would want the neat things you have, Jeff.
Well, Teddy, old buddy, old pal, it's time to share the wealth, and I've decided to share it with you. Can you come to my house Friday after school and stay until Monday morning?
Oh, well,
Say yes, you fool.
Can I have some time to think about your offer?
Sure. You can have till Thursday.
What are you doing? If Jeff said he wanted to share his wealth with me, I'd do anything he asked.
Anything?
Well, almost anything.
That night, Teddy went to bed at his usual time, but he wasn't able to fall asleep because he could not stop thinking about his conversation with Jeff. It was obvious that Jeff was up to something, but Teddy couldn't figure out what it was.
Oh, well. How can I lose? At the very least, I'll see if all the rumors about the rich Cassidys are true. I think I'll accept Jeff's invitation.
Finally, the decision was made, and Teddy fell asleep. On Friday, Teddy rode the school bus home with Jeff. The bus dropped the boys off at a corner a few blocks away from where Jeff lived. As the two made their way to the Cassidys' house, Teddy was reminded why Jeff's neighborhood was called the ritzy part of town. Before long, Teddy and Jeff were standing in front of a large wrought iron gate. Jeff automatically began poking at the buttons on a small electronic box. Magically, the gate swung open. Jeff led his guest into one of the most fantastic houses Teddy had ever visited. The two boys passed through a spacious entry hall into a large room containing almost every conceivable form of home entertainment. All of it looked intriguing, but the three items that piqued Teddy's interest were the big screen TV, the pool table, and the pinball machine. Teddy's excitement continued to mount as he followed Jeff to the large glass doors. Jeff pushed one of the doors open to give Teddy a better look at the backyard.
Jeez,
Teddy gasped as his eyes surveyed an enormous area with a swimming pool, tennis court, and putting green.
You didn't tell me you lived at a country club.
And Jeff chuckled out loud. Soon, a kind-looking, heavy-set woman entered the room and greeted the boys. She set a tray of snacks on a nearby table and then left. Teddy looked first at the food and then at Jeff.
That was a nice thing for your mom to do.
She's not my mom. My mom and dad are at work.
After the snacks were consumed, Jeff finished giving Teddy a tour of the house. Then the two boys settled into taking advantage of all the enjoyable activities the Cassidy home had to offer. All too quickly, the afternoon turned into the evening. Following a delicious meal prepared by the housekeeper and eaten in front of the big screen TV, Jeff announced that Teddy and he would have to go to bed early.
We've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow, and we're going to need all the rest we can get.
But I never go to bed early on Friday night. That's the one night I can stay up late because I can sleep in the next day.
Well, you won't be sleeping in tomorrow. We need to be up by 5 a.m.
5 a.m.? What could possibly be worth getting up at 5 o'clock on Saturday morning?
You'll see.
After watching one more program on TV, Teddy grudgingly followed Jeff upstairs. As the two boys passed by the master bedroom, Teddy glanced inside. The emptiness of the room reminded him that he had not yet seen Jeff's parents. It was 9 p.m., and they were still not home. Intuitively, Jeff knew that Teddy was wondering about his parents.
My mom and dad work 6 days a week, sometimes 7. And they put in 12 to 14 hours a day. It's what they have to do to make their business work.
Teddy didn't understand what had prompted Jeff's remark. He was just glad that his parents weren't away from home as much as Jeff's parents were. 5 o'clock in the morning came all too soon. It was still dark outside, and Teddy had an unusually difficult time getting out of bed. Wisely, he decided to skip his daily shower. He had put on his shirt and was pulling up his pants when he noticed Jeff was staring at him, shaking his head.
You aren't going to wear those clothes, are you?
Teddy wasn't in the mood for Jeff's incriminating question.
Are you saying that my clothes aren't good enough?
They're too good,
Jeff said as he threw open his closet door. He grabbed some clothes off their hangers and tossed them to Teddy.
Here, put these on.
Teddy examined the clothes. They looked like they had been through several world wars.
Does this mean we won't be attending any dressy affairs today?
Teddy asked, trying to be funny. His humor worked, and Jeff laughed. Once again, the boys approached the master bedroom, but this time the door was closed. Jeff motioned for Teddy to stop walking. Then he quietly turned the knob on the bedroom door and pushed it open. Teddy couldn't see exactly what was going on inside the room, but he could hear Jeff talking with his parents. The exchange among the three of them sounded warm and caring, and it seemed obvious that they loved each other very much. Before long, Jeff reappeared. He gently closed the door to his parents' room and signaled for Teddy to follow him to the kitchen. After a breakfast of cold milk and cereal, the two boys went straight to the garage. Jeff pressed a button on the wall. The garage door opened, revealing several stacks of unfolded newspapers in the driveway.
It's time to get to work,
Jeff announced enthusiastically. By 6 a.m., the newspapers had been folded and stuffed into two large pouches that hung over the back of Jeff's bike. With Teddy riding Jeff's dad's bike, the two boys began delivering the newspapers. By 7:30 a.m., all the papers had been distributed, and Jeff and Teddy were on their way to a second job, which was cleaning the cages at a nearby kennel. The rest of the day was spent doing several lawn mowing jobs. By the time Teddy and Jeff returned to the Cassidys' house, it was dark and Teddy was exhausted. Jeff gleefully placed all the money that had been earned that day on the kitchen table.
Teddy, old buddy, old pal, I told you I was going to share the wealth, and I intend to keep my promise. Half of this money is yours, and the same is true of the money we'll earn tomorrow.
Tomorrow?